All right, here we are. We are actually finishing up the end of section 3. We are going to do some spaceship lives and power-ups. This is a really cool lesson. So let's get started. The very first thing you're going to do is add a brand new global variable. So remember, we like to come up here. I like to right click on your Chromebooks. That's a 2-finger middle click. We'll go to add a new variable, and this will be player lives. You can allow your player to have however many you want. I'm going to have them have 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to come right here, and in the bullet collisions group, we are, every time the player is destroyed, we're going to lose a life. So, bullet collisions, and we're going to add an event. So the best way to do this is to come down here. I'm going to close this one just to kind of give me more room. Right here where it says add event, you will add an event. And it's going to be that when the player is destroyed, so I'm going to click on the player and say on destroyed. When the player is destroyed, we want to subtract 1 from the player lives. So we're going to add an action right here. It's our system, compare variable. Whoa, maybe subtract from. Yeah. Player lives, and 1. So when the player gets destroyed, we're going to subtract 1 from the global variable of player lives. We're going to do another thing. What we're going to do is we're going to add a sub-event to this event, and we're going to do add sub-event. So remember, I had to click over here. That's not going to do it. You got to illuminate the whole bit. Add sub-event. And it's going to be for the system. And this one's going to be compare variable. And we're going to say as long as the player's lives is greater than or equal to 0, then we're going to keep on regenerating. So as long as the player's lives are greater than or equal to 0, here we go. It will add an action to the system, and it's going to be wait. We're going to wait for 3 seconds. And then we're going to create a new object. So we'll go to add action again. We're going to go to the system, and I believe it's called create object. You're going to create your player right where he was, so 600. 615. This is just saying that if our first spaceship dies, then we can try a few more times. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually add power-ups. This is really cool. When I was playing Star Defender the first time, I don't think I realized that there are power-ups, but we're going to go ahead and build some in. So in order to create a new object, you're going to either come here to your game tab. Whoa, I'm going to zoom out. If you're missing the toolbar because you minimize yours, so do I, you'll go to menu, view, bars, and I think it's called the project bar. Aha, there it is. And so remember, in order to add a new sprite, we can either right click here, you could double click right here. We're going to add a brand new sprite, and it's going to be named Powerup. We're going to resize it using these arrows that go away from each other to 24 by 24. Be really small. I'm going to zoom in so I can make it look nicer. And we're going to actually have 3 frames. The first one's going to be for a new life, the second one will be for a shield, and then the third one will be for weapon upgrade. So frame 1, duplicate, duplicate, and then the first one's going to be for new life. They made a heart. I'm going to follow their suit. Remember, you could always come back at the end and make these like really cool. When we're working right now, we should definitely be focused on the coding. Shield, get ready for this one. You can even upload pictures if you want. I'll probably have to honestly do that for my shield because I guess it doesn't look that bad. Yeah. And then the third one is a weapon upgrade. I'm going to draw a sword. It's not a good sword. Come on. Again, you could always go back in at the end and make these better. Alright, sweet. So I've got my 3 frames, and of course, remember, drag that off the screen. Power-ups group and event. Let's do it. So we're going to go back to our event page, and honestly, I'm going to probably get rid of this just to give me more room. To get a power-up to randomly spawn when an enemy destroys you, you will need to run actions into the enemy undestroyed event. Rather than using an existing undestroyed event, we're going to create a brand new group. I'm good at that. So I'm going to right-click over here. Whoa, I don't want anything to be highlighted. It'll be add group. And it's going to be called Powerups. And the description will be manages the creation and collection of power-ups. Now we're going to add an event here. Oh, mine's called Group 1. Go away. Rename. Oh, that's cool. Add an event in your group that runs when an enemy is destroyed. So we're going to add an event, and we're going to click on our enemy, and we're going to use on destroyed. And so far, that's all we've got for this step. Next, we're going to create a global variable called Powerup Chance. And default it to 0. Then we're going to add an action to the new on destroyed event. Okay, so what we just did down here, and we're going to go to the system, and it's going to be set value. And we are going to do the power-up chance to round of random. Oh. Of 50. So what this function does is random of 50 is going to draw a random number in between 0 and 50. But the thing is, this system also, it's not like an integer. It actually draws decimals as well. And so when we do round, we're saying, hey, only pick an integer value. And so we are going to set our power-up chance to a certain number that's getting drawn in between 0 and 50. And so we're going to come over here to the system. Oh, we're going to make a sub-event here. We're actually going to make 3 sub-events on the system, and it's going to be compare variable, power up chance, and we're going to just pick 3 random numbers in between 0 and 50. And so StemFuse chooses 3, 10, and 15. You can choose any numbers you want. We're just going to choose these 3 just to stay consistent. System, compare variable, power up chance is 3, 10, and 15. And so there is a 1 in 50 chance that each one of these power-ups is going to be generated. If you wanted it more likely that your system would generate a power-up, we would choose a smaller number right here. If you wanted it to be even rarer, then we choose a bigger number. You might eventually want to change 50 to be a smaller number, because why program power-ups if you're never actually going to see them? A 1 in 50 chance isn't really that great. I mean, it's okay. Well, I guess it's a 3 in 50 chance. Next, spawn power-up objects. Okay, so if power-up chance is equal to 3, so if the random number from this function drawn is 3, then what we're going to do is we're going to click the enemy object. Wait, what? Oh, I guess so. Okay, so the enemy object, and it's going to be spawn another object. And what we're going to spawn is the power-up. Layer 0. Now, in order to get the heart, we need to stop our animation. So we're going to go add an action to the power-up, and it's going to be stop animation. And then set animation frame to 0. You'll probably be like, oh, I remember doing something like this. I just chose set frame to 0. We're going to do the exact same thing for here and here, but we're going to do the animation frame as 1 and then the animation frame as 2. So last class, Ben told me how to copy paste. We'll see if I get it. Copy, paste. I learned. I did it. So how do you copy paste? Select all 3. You might need to hold down Shift to click on multiples. If you right click, you could do copy. And then come right here, click on this one, and you will right click again and do paste. Now here's the thing. We're going to change this one to animation frame of 1. And then since it's already like on your clipboard, you could just do it right here and click paste. And then set animation frame to 2. There you go. This is what it should look like. Type instance variable for power-up. Okay. So with the power-ups group, go ahead and create an event for the power-up object that checks for a collision with the player. So I'm in my power-up group. And I'm going to create a new event. So I'm going to click on this one right here where it says add events. I might even close this just so it's not in my way. I'm going to add an event. For the Powerup object that checks for a collision with the player. So we'll do on collision. Oh, I see. These are going to get like spawned out of our enemies and thrown at us. Let's see. Collision with the player. Then, when the power-up collides with the player, add an action to destroy the power-up. I could do that. Add an action, power-up, destroy. Add an instance variable to the power-up object. So remember, in order to add an instance variable, we're going to need to be on this layout tab. I'm going to reopen that projects bar. Power-up. I had to do the other bar as well. So view properties bar. In the properties bar, when you click on the power up, you will now get to double check. Make sure you've got this. Highlight power up, and then you're going to add an instance variable, and it's going to be called type. Make it a number that defaults to 0. Got it. So notice I added the instance variable to my power up sprite. I'm going to close all these and come back here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add sub-events to this one. So add a sub-event, and this is going to be on my power-up, and we're going to our instance variable menu. So it's going to be compare instance variable of type to 0. I'll do it again. I'm going to add a sub-event to the power-up. This is my instance variable, compare instance variable. Type is 1. One more time. Create a sub-event from line 56. You're doing it to the power-up, and you are comparing your instance variable type 2. That was it? Okay. Power-up object behaviors. Ugh, I wish they would have told me this a while ago. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back to this tab, and we're adding behaviors. So I'm going to reopen this menu. Properties. Okay. So I'm going to click on my power-up, and now I've got all this right here. We need to add the bullet behavior and destroy outside layout. So behavior, we're going to add the bullet, and then destroy outside layout. In the properties bar, set the bullet speed to 150. So remember, you can like customize the behaviors right here, and we're going to set it to 150. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to be able to really see this in action unless I had I'm going to change this to 3. Just to see that it's working right now. And then this is going to be 1, 2, and 3. You don't quite need to do this if you don't want, but I just want to see this work. Sweet. So there is a 1/3 of a chance. Oh, look at that. That was really cool. There's a 1/3 of a chance that that's what's going to spawn. Look at that. There's my sword. There's my shield. Oh, these are really cool. And so when I catch them, I should be able to get that power up. So the reason I changed it to from 50 to 3 is because this is drawing a random number between 1 and 3, so 1, 2, or 3. And so there is a third of a chance that I'm going to get the first frame, a third of a chance that I'm going to get the second frame, and a third of a chance that I'm going to get the third frame. Every single time you hit an enemy, one of those random numbers is pulled. I'm going to go ahead and put this back. And then, honestly, you could leave these as 1, 2, and 3. There's no reason that you need higher numbers. And I'm going to... Maybe I'll put it like something moderate, like 5. Just so then, like, sometimes it happens, and then sometimes it doesn't happen. And then I'm going to call it quits on this video. I'm going to come back for a part 2. But when I start part 2, we should start at step 8. So this part 1 is steps 1 through 7.